everybody! Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Destiny's Princess. A war story, a love story. We are on chapter 3 of Kotaro's story, entitled Stargazers. Oh man, he is a little bit too carefree for his own good. He almost spilled the beans and got himself caught about sneaking into my room all the time. He doesn't need a worse reputation than the soldiers are spreading rumors about already. Yukimura might be kind of suspicious now. Let's see what happens here in chapter 3. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Rokaku!
That's right, my princess, the Rokaku clan.
What a weird name. Were there enemies?
Yep, they were our sworn enemies. Then again, that was roughly 100 years ago. We can live peacefully now because our ancestors had defeated them.
Then we don't have to fight anymore.
I wonder.
Even if a war starts, I'll protect Saya. Don't worry.
How reliable.
A dream? It was a dream of my real father and brother. We'd been told about the history of our archenemy. It's been a long time. Even though it had only been a few years ago, it felt like an eternity ago. Just like I thought, I can't remember their faces or their names. Even in my dreams, I couldn't remember anything about my real father and brother. I couldn't even recognize the voices I had heard in my dream after I woke up. The only thing I faintly remembered was the conversation we'd had. But why did I see that dream? I absently heard a bird singing outside. There was no one who could answer my question. It had been peaceful for a while. As always, Kotaro came to visit me morning and night. We started talking a little bit. We were talking a little bit before. He didn't just start it now. Sometimes he would make an excuse that it was to bring me a present. He gave me pretty gemstones. Where do you find these gemstones?
In the mountains and rivers.
I've gone to those places before, but I've never seen things like these. As always, Kotaro put his hands behind his head, rocked his body, and smiled.
Those things only show themselves to people who are hunting for treasure. You haven't found them because you've never looked for them.
Oh. Was that really true? After he'd said it, I thought it might be. In these past few days, Kotaro and I had become closer to each other. I thanked him for the jewels and gave him flowers. He accompanied me to pick flowers outside the castle walls. Well, right outside to them. We'd spent our days like that, and after a few days had passed us by, I thought I'd heard a voice while I was half asleep.
Well then, princess, I'm going, but don't be too lonely without me.
Going? Where was he going? To do his job?
See ya.
Pretend to snore as he goes off to risk his life for me and my country. Try to say something. Kotaro, where in the world was he going? I wanted to call out to him, but I was too sleepy. After that, man, my choice made no difference. Good morning, princess. Huh? I tilted my head as I rubbed my eyes. What's wrong? Nothing. I think I overslept. Recently, Kotaro had woken me up every day. It had been a while since a maid had done it. Now that you bring it up, you have been waking up early recently. Yeah. I was worried about the words Kotaro had said in my daze. I was sure it was just a dream, though. No, you're not. You're not sure. Say, did something happen while I was asleep? No, nothing in particular. Oh, but now that you mention it, I heard the Fuma squadron went out on a skirmish. Just them? Yes, and at a very early time at that. They were preparing for a long trip or something. Oh. It was only the Fuma squadron, so they had to have been scouting or something. Maybe the voice I'd heard really was Kotaro's.
Well then, princess, I'm going. Don't get too lonely without me.
Everything would be fine as long as you didn't run into danger. Oh my, how pretty. Huh? The handmaid looked at my bedside. Oh. There was a small stone, the color of fresh leaves, sitting there. Kotaro had come here. If he'd come, He should have woken me up. It's truly pretty. I took the stone and rolled it around in the palm of my hand. Who gave this to you? It's a secret. I giggled. Can you get me that box? The handmaid gave me a pretty paper box, and I gently put the stone inside. It was fun seeing the precious stones Kotaro had bought me pile up. Oh, so you don't know where Kotaro went either, Yukimura?
On the contrary, I didn't even know there was a skirmish in the first place.
I visited Yukimura in the courtyard, and he stopped his training to talk to me. Recently, he'd been using the courtyard to train all the soldiers. Then whose orders were they? Father's?
Well, I'm sure, but it wasn't me.
Before I knew it, Nobunaga was sitting next to me. Alright, so Nobunaga's a ninja now too. The other vassals panicked and bowed down on the floor.
Well, it's fine, boys. Keep practicing.
Nobunaga waved his hand at them in a troublesome manner.
It's rare to see you here, father. I was bored and came to watch. If you had that much free time, why don't you return as Supreme Commander?
Yukimura fixated his glare on Nobunaga. The man bent his body and began to make a fuss.
Ouch! Oh, it hurts. The cut in my shoulder is just aching.
Oh, come on, old man. Nobody's falling for that. That face.
By the way, the thing you were just talking about.
In an instant, Nobunaga returned his face to normal and pointed with his folding fan.
If someone had ordered Kotaro to go out, it must have been Hanbei. He asked me if he could use the Fuma Squadron as he wished. It sounded like Hanbei had a plan to nip the demons in the bud.
Nip them in the bud? Yukimura frowned.
Then Kotaro and the others went to... Yeah, if he'd gone through with it, they're probably at the demon's nest.
Then, right now, Kotaro was... My chest hurt. I knew Kotaro was here for a reason. However, when he showed up in front of me, he acted like a detestable little boy.
You seem awfully worried about Kotaro, Princess.
Confirm his statement, really? Usually I like to deny these things. Huh? Well, there's a lot to it. That's why...
A lot to it. There's a lot between you and a ninja.
Despite my looks, I am a multifaceted person. Yukimura interrupted me.
Father, Saya and Kotaro are scheming something.
Hey! I panicked, and Yukimura tilted his head.
Should I not have told him?
No, it's not like that, but I was flustered as I answered, and Nobunaga looked very interested.
Oh, what kind of scheme? Apparently, Saya is having him investigate something that has to do with the demons.
Ah!
What is it?
I interrupted their conversation with my loud voice and took measures to make a big fuss. Oh, that's right. I have some business with the soldiers. As I spoke, I quickly separated myself from that place.
She's awfully strange.
Yukimura was grumbling behind me.
Kotaro?
Yeah, I was wondering what kind of skirmish he went on this time. Hanbei put his calligraphy brush on his desk and took a look at me.
Why do you want to know something like that?
I was just curious. He's not buying it. Hanbei stared at me as if he was probing me. I flinched a tiny bit. Of course if there's harm in me knowing, I won't make you tell me. After a very long silence, Hanbei shook his head.
I'm afraid I can't tell you.
What? Why not? Oh, why?
I don't know if people are listening in on us.
I tilted my head. But our enemies are mindless demons, right? You shouldn't need to worry about spies.
Indeed, there would be no need to fear if the enemy really was mindless.
But I've got a demon right here in the dagger at my chest. There seemed to be a hidden meaning behind those words. Then, do you think there are demons that are intelligent?
It is unlikely, but yes.
An intelligent demon. Now that I thought about it, the small demon sealed in my dagger was like that. I had an audience with a small demon in my dream the day the castle had fallen. He was right. It wouldn't be strange if there were intelligent demons.
Please, don't let it worry you. I'm sure Kotaro will return soon.
You're right. You're right. I'm sure he'll come back safe and sound. Hanbei let out a chuckle. Is something wrong?
No, I was just thinking how you two have become so close recently. I'm a little jealous.
Because I've moved on? Because you die on me? Hanbei spoke jokingly. How dare you tease me? Plus, Kotaro and I don't have any kind of relationship to be jealous of.
Oh, then what kind of relationship is it?
I was at a loss at how to answer him.
At any rate, I can tell you two are on good terms.
Hanbei laughed as he looked at me. I was quite embarrassed. It was just as Hanbei had said. Kotaro returned faster than I thought.
Princess, I'm back.
I was in my bed, but I couldn't go to sleep. I turned over in my bed at midnight. Kotaro didn't show himself. He only spoke. Kotaro, why won't you show yourself to me? 'Cause he's injured and he doesn't want me to see.
I am a little dirty right now. I did just get back after all. There's no way I could enter your room all dirty, right?
Then where are you right now?
I'm in the attic. I'm going to go to the roof of the veranda to look at the moon. Care to join me?
Oh, I guess he's not injured after all. How can I?
I left you a ladder. I'll see you in the courtyard.
A ladder? Wait, Kotaro! I yelled at Kotaro, but he'd already disappeared. That jerk! He didn't even wait for my answer. Even though I'd said that, I was worried about him and wanted to see his face. Oh, I grumbled, but I put on some light clothing. I went out to the courtyard, and there was a ladder on the eaves just like Kotaro had said. I climbed up and saw Kotaro sprawled out on the roof. He then got up. Oh, how sexy. Alright, just because he's a ninja and he can move stealthily across the roof doesn't mean I can. I'm probably going to be waking everybody up walking along the roof here.
Oh, if it isn't the princess. I didn't think you'd actually come.
You're the one who told me to. Kotaro casually grabbed my hand, and I climbed onto the roof.
You are not scared?
I'm fine. I'm used to high places because I used to climb trees.
Tree climbing?
I did it when I was a kid. I stopped doing it recently because my wedding was close.
You did it until recently, huh?
Yeah, is that bad?
No, it's not. But it sure is rare for a princess to do that.
After looking around, I sat next to Kotaro, who'd been smiling. He once again sprawled himself out onto the roof. I took the precious stone. Thank you for it. It looked like a fresh leaf. It was a beautiful color.
Right? When I found it, I thought of giving it to you. It's depressing having to be stuck in the castle all the time.
How was the skirmish? I'm glad you're safe.
What? We just went to scout out a place. It wasn't exciting.
Kotaro smiled clearly. Huh? What's that smell? Suddenly, something caught my nose. I started to frown.
Smell?
Yeah, it smells metallic. Blood? Ah! I panicked and looked at Kotaro. Wait, Kotaro, you're hurt, aren't you?
No.
But this is the smell of blood, isn't it? It's coming from you.
Yeah.
I guess it's not his blood. Kotaro smiled from the tip of his... What? Smiled from the tip of his nose? What does that mean? Well, Kotaro smiled from the tip of his nose, whatever that means.
I told you I couldn't enter your room because I was dirty, didn't I? It's the blood from my foe.
Well, that's good. His smile was different. A menacing smile? Come on, that's sexy. His smile shined in the moonlight and had a tinge of cruelty in it. I didn't know who he was. He was like a different person than the innocent boy who'd visited me and given me stones.
Are you scared?
Before I knew it, Kotaro was staring at me. I smiled, but the light in his eyes looked like he was probing me. No. I'm not scared. No. I shook my head. You're protecting our nation. There's no way I'd be scared.
But still, if our employer died, we wouldn't have a means to survive.
You're doing it for the money?
What if I am?
I wouldn't mind if you did. In the end, you're protecting our nation. That was right. The majority of them wouldn't forgive my wish. I borrowed the power of this dagger and separated these men from their homes. They had been given false memories and were tied to a far-off land where they knew no one.
Are you sure you can trust a traitor so easily?
You're not a traitor. Am I really giving this away? You're not a traitor.
Oh, how assertive. I didn't know you had so much faith in me.
Kotaro teased me. I wanted to tell him he was wrong. I had just known that Kotaro wasn't a traitor. But I couldn't tell him. There was no way I could.
Princess.
What is it? As he was indulged in reverie, he answered partly unintentionally.
I'm glad I came here.
Huh? I was puzzled for a moment. I came here. I thought he'd meant he was glad he'd come to this world. No, that wasn't right. He meant to this country. I wanted to ask him and turned my head at once, but Kotaro's face was so close to mine. Why is he glowing? Is it because his hair is so bright? Our lips could have touched if he'd come any closer.
I don't know what Lord Nobunaga is thinking, but I have a feeling he's an amazing person. The strategist Hanbei listens to our opinions. Masamune is unsociable, but he made some great food.
Masamune cooks?
We had fun drinking together too. The prince is a good person, and the princess is cute.
His sigh caressed my lips. Ah. I couldn't even tremble in fear. I continued to listen to Kotaro. Should I have leaned back? But I'd regret it if I did. Regret? Why would I feel regret? His clear eyes. In front of me, Kotaro's eyes were illuminated by the moonlight. They looked like the pretty jewels he'd given me. He didn't say a word. It was like time had stopped. Then... Huh? All of a sudden, Kotaro disappeared. From right in front of me? A long wave of tiles was spread out in Kotaro's place. Kotaro?
I'm over here.
His voice came from the courtyard. I looked down, and he was smiling at me.
You should go back to your room soon. I'll escort you.
Kotaro held his hand out to me. You're right. For some reason, I didn't feel satisfied. I put my hand on the ladder. Turn the other way, I yelled at Kotaro, who'd been grinning. We were in danger. If someone saw us, we would be in all sorts of trouble.
See ya, princess. Good night.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Just as I returned to my room, I naturally let out a sigh. I unintentionally touched my lips. I thought we were going to kiss. What would have happened if our lips pressed up against each other back there? Then you would have kissed. Could I have gotten mad or angry at him? I wonder if I'll see Kotaro's honest side starting tomorrow. Why would that be starting tomorrow? I let out another deep sigh. That night, the gentle sound of the flute reverberated in the silent night. The clear sound was especially beautiful tonight. It was like the sound was shining like a crystal. It's pretty. As I dozed off, I remembered Kotaro's stargazing at the entire sky in my dream. Chapter 4 will be Silverwing. When am I going to figure out that it's Kotaro playing the flute? I love his innocence, but seeing his dangerous side is very sexy too. Oh, I love that. I love that he's nice and versatile. Let it stay this way. Please don't let him turn into a creep. Oh, I am definitely loving this relationship so far. I'm really curious about Masamune, though, because he's the one that we've heard least about in this game so far. I have the feeling he's going to be like the kind of gruff but very sweet guy, so I kind of can't wait to see his route. But since he's kind of like the underdog and he's been so quiet, I don't really expect people to vote for him. So, who knows, he might end up being last. But I'm okay with that because I'm going to read it anyway, no matter how long it takes. Alright, well, I hope to see you in my future videos. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.